Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are going to take a look at some very cool Snap Squad figures from Mattel. These figures aren't exactly new, but I've had them for quite some time, just never got around to reviewing them, so I figured why not get them up finally right now. And you can see here that we have the Stiggy Malik, a repainted Tyrannosaurus Rex, a Parasaurolophus, and a repainted kind of metallic looking Velociraptor Blue, which all of the figures actually kind of have like that metallic shine to them. But another round of really cool Snap Squads, but with only two new species that were previously not included in the line, which would be the Stygimoloch and Parasaurolophus. So I'm going to go ahead and break these out of the packaging, and then we're just going to go ahead and jump straight into the closer look right now. So we will go ahead and take a look at Velociraptor Blue first, and this figure is almost exactly the same, I would say, to the previous Velociraptor Blue, as in there's really nothing new to it other than a metallic look. We have pretty much the same paint going on. We have a nice yellowish coloration kind of here on the underside, and then you have the gray and then the blue stripe that runs down along blue. And again, everything now has this very cool looking metallic shine to it, which I think looks neat, and it's nice to have a different variant of Velociraptor Blue. It would have kind of been a bummer if they just released the same figure that they had released previously, but just in a new wave like they have done with plenty of other figures like their attack packs and everything. And it's nice to see again that we have a very cool looking metallic Velociraptor Blue, but the sculpt is exactly the same as what we've had previously. The paint just now looks metallic, and I think it looks very appealing and is yet another really neat addition to the growing line of Snap Squad figures from Mattel. Overall, no sloppy paint or anything that I can see. The eyes look great. Everything does look really nice. The inside of the mouth, actually, we'll take a quick look in there, also looks really good. Nice realistic coloration in there, the nicely painted teeth. Everything appears to have a beautiful gloss coat to it inside the mouth, so definitely a really cool figure, but not one of the most exciting ones of the group, which this is one of the most exciting ones of the group. This is the Stygimoloch. This is a brand new species introduced to the Snap Squad line, and you can see sculpt-wise the head looks great. Really nice detailing all over, beautiful scale detail all over the head sculpt of the Stygimoloch, as well as some nicely painted spikes on the back of the head here. You also have all these little ones that run along the head here, but those aren't painted, but they are given a very nice darker brown right there. As far as the overall coloration of the head, it's just primarily a dark brown. And then up here on the dome of our Stygimoloch, you could see some really nice detailing within the head sculpt here of the dome, and lots of really nice cracks and crevices within that area, as well as a nicely sculpted out beak, which is also painted with that dark gray. You have the dark gray that paints the spikes, the dome, and the snout here, the beak area of the Stygimoloch. But again, the actual beak, you can see there's some nice cracks and crevices within that area as well. So sculpt-wise, it looks phenomenal. You can also see the nostrils right there on the Stygimoloch. Really nicely painted eyes with a yellow coloration and a nice big black pupil. Nicely glossed as well, but the entire dinosaur kind of looks glossy due to that metallic look. You also have the really nicely painted eye over here. The Stygimoloch can open his mouth, of course. We've got some teeth in there. He looks now all of a sudden like he's a pretty menacing looking Stygimoloch. And you have a nice coloration. I actually really like the coloration for the inside of the mouth on this one. A nice gloss coat in there as well. Beautifully done inside of the mouth for the Stygimoloch. Really nicely painted teeth. There's no sloppiness as far as the teeth go or anything like that. So that area is definitely really nice as far as this figure goes. Coming down here into the arms, you can see the very nice small arms of our Stiggy, really beautifully painted again with that metallic brown. And then you can see the legs. You have some nice musculature displayed, really nicely sculpted out feet. Of course, there's no nail paint on the figures. It's just the same coloration as the rest of the body. And then coming back up here into the back, you can see some kind of dark striping that runs across the back of the Stygimoloch to just give it a little bit of paint variation. And then, of course, the really small tail out here, which does have a really cute, adorable little curve to it. The underside sports a little bit of difference in coloration. There's not really too much else to the figure. It is definitely a really cool looking version of a Stygimoloch, and definitely excited to have one now included in the Snap Squad line. And then we have the Tyrannosaurus, which again, sculpt-wise is no different than the previous figures as far as the T-Rex goes, but we have a really nice looking new paint job for the figure, and you can see a very dark brown that runs down over top of the snout, and I actually think it looks really cool. Again, not really color-wise looking too much like a Jurassic Park Tyrannosaurus, but a really cool, unique look, and I actually like the paint job on this one a lot. You can see again the eyes are painted nicely, also glossed, just like they always are on the Snap Squad figures. Sculpt-wise, we've already reviewed this sculpt numerous times, so we don't really need to go over that. You can see grayish coloration here for the lower jaw, and that dark brown kind of squiggles down the back. Of course, stops before the tail. But other than that, there's not really too much else going on. As far as the figure, when it comes to the paint, you do have that grayish coloration here on the underside. But then when we open the mouth, we can get a look inside the mouth here. Again, the teeth appear to be painted quite nicely. Overall, they are really nicely done, but you don't see paint here on the inside of the teeth too well, actually, looking at it right there. So, I mean, that looks okay, but it definitely could have been painted better on the inside of the mouth right there. But the inside of the mouth, as far as like the tongue and the upper side of the jaw and everything, does look really good. Very nice natural looking coloration chosen for in there. And again, a picture perfect gloss coat is added as always. And then for the Parasaurolophus, a really cool looking head sculpt for a Parasaurolophus. I'm super psyched. This is the one that I was the most excited for out of all four of these, I think, but I'm really psyched to have a Parasaurolophus included here, and he looks super, super cute. But the skin texture of the face is actually really incredible overall. That is some beautiful skin texture up here on the head of the Parasaurolophus, and you can see like a little bit of a light red that's run down here over the face, and then of course the darker red up here on the crest of the Parasaurolophus. The sculpt looks really good as far as the crest goes. Lots of cracks and crevices and really nice texturing to the crest. Gorgeous sculpt work in that aspect, all the way down here into the beak of the Parasaurolophus, which continues to look incredible. You can see the nostrils right there. And then the really nice detailing here on the underside. You have a light gray on the underbelly of the Parasaurolophus. Opening the mouth, we do have teeth on the inside of the mouth, and they are actually quite nicely painted. They do look much better than the Rex and the teeth that that figure had. I really think these look much better. And overall, don't look very sloppy for the most part. Nice, realistic looking coloration again for the inside of the mouth of the Parasaurolophus. Nicely glossed as always, so really cool looking inside of the mouth. Almost makes him look like he's slightly carnivorous, but it is what it is. And then moving down here into the back of the dinosaur, you can see some stripes that run down along the body, even right here behind the leg actually, which is very reminiscent of a Jurassic Park style Parasaurolophus. And then you of course have the really nicely sculpted arms and hands, really nicely sculpted feet. Overall, everything looks really good there. And then you have that very nice small tail. So another really cool Snap Squad figure, and another extremely awesome wave of Snap Squads from Mattel. So as far as articulation goes, you have the same articulation that you always have with Snap Squads, which we've already seen. You have the articulated jaw, which works really well. You also have these articulated arms, legs, and tail, but they all just kind of dangle. And of course that is so that once you have the dinosaur latch onto your finger, you can have him dangle in an adorable fashion, and it looks really, really cool. At this point, with how many different Snap Squads we've had, you could have these guys hanging from almost everything in your house. And I always love how good they stand, like the legs being really dangly. It's impressive how once you put the figures down, they all stand perfectly. Again, I really don't think that people commend Mattel enough for that little aspect. That very tiny little aspect of these figures is just how good of a job they've done at balancing the figures out. It really is impressive if you ask me. But as far as the size goes, I'm not going to measure each and every one of them because that would just be crazy as they're all almost the same size. I'm just going to hold this right here. You're going to see the Rex roughly closing in at about 3.5 inches or 9 centimeters in length. And then for a height, a little under 2.5 inches or about 6 centimeters, somewhere in that range. There's not too much as far as size for these as they are pretty small overall, but for a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Dilophosaurus, and Robert Muldoon next to our newest wave of Snap Squads, and they do measure up exactly the same as all the previous Snap Squads. Pretty much, I mean, there's always some slight size difference between each other, but they're all generally around that same size range, and you can see next to these figures right here again that they are pretty small overall. So these newest Mattel Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Snap Squad figures are extremely cool looking figures as always. I've loved the Snap Squad line ever since their initial 4 figures, which seems so long ago at this point, but I've always loved each and every one of the figures so far, and these 4 are no different. Of course, sporting that newest weird kind of metallic look that Mattel has become obsessed with in the last, 2 waves of Snap Squads, I think. They may have been more, I'm not sure, but I know for sure the last wave was metallic. This one as well is metallic, and although it's a little bit strange that they continue to give these figures their metallic look, I think it all does still look really kind of good on the figures and flashy, so at the same time, it's appealing looking if you ask me. Sculpt-wise, each and every one of these figures are really well done as far as creating that type of a species in a very cool, very cute looking Snap Squad form. I think Mattel has pretty much nailed it on each and every one of them, and at the same time allowing a lot of really nice sculpt and detail to be put forth on the sculpts of the figures, which is impressive how even when they make kind of kitty looking figures, really cute and adorable figures, they still put a lot of effort into the sculpts and really hammer out some nicely detailed figures overall. And that is again one of the most impressive aspects about Mattel, is definitely how much work they put into creating a really nice sculpt, as we've had Hasbro in the past really fail horribly at doing things like that. So thank the heavens that we have Mattel here to create really nicely detailed figures. The paintwork on them is kind of basic. It's pretty much your standard basic paintwork from Mattel. They don't really give you too much as far as the paint application, but they give you enough that I think it looks really good and really nice and flashy on each and every one of the figures. We of course have 2 new species included and 2 repaints with this wave. The 2 new species would be the Stygimoloch and Parasaurolophus, and I think both are fantastic. It's really nice to see some more herbivores introduced to the line as well, as we haven't had too many of those in the past, and again, both of these look excellent, especially that Parasaurolophus. I really am a big fan of the Parasaurolophus, and definitely 4 figures that I feel like are worth picking up. So if you would like to buy these guys, make sure you head to your local Target, as that's where I found mine, and they seem pretty abundant there currently. So make sure you check your local Target, pick up these really cool Snap Squad figures, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.